This is Aarti Chauhan to welcome all of you with his welcome address.
Thank you. Thank you, Arumuri. Honorable Dr. Justice Chandrachud, Judge Supreme Court of India and Chairman of E-Committee, Supreme Court of India, respected Shri Venugopal, Attorney General, Honorable Chief Justices of High Courts, Honorable Chairpersons of Computer Committees of High Courts, Honorable Judges of the High Courts, Shri Barun Mitra, Secretary, Department of Justice, Learned Chairman of the Bar Council of India, Shri Manan Kumar Mishra, learned members of the E-Committee and distinguished guests. On behalf of the E-Committee, I welcome you all to this inauguration of the district level program for awareness of e-services provided by the E-Committee in 22 Indian languages and dialects. For about a decade, the focus of E-Committee was on building capacities, providing facilities with judicial administration in view. The Honorable Chairman noticed that several facilities provided by the e-courts project were not being fully utilized by the judicial administration as well as the stakeholders. It was noticed that the problem was lack of awareness about the existence of such facilities. Language also was a major barrier. The chairman therefore directed that a massive awareness drive should be launched so that the full potential of existing facilities is exploited. Once people realize that the system is easily accessible and start using it, if they exploit the potential of the system fully, they will realize that the process of justice is not as dilatory as is made out, and the justice delivery will be fastened. Then they will refuse to be lured by the extra constitutional means of dispute resolution. And once they are away from the extra constitutional means of dispute resolution, this will provide a big opportunity to a large number of youngsters joining the bar every year. Several schemes of the government, like e-initiatives at panchayat level, too could be exploited to improve the access to e-courts services. The Honorable Chairman has in his mind a program which will touch every stakeholder in course of next few months. And I'm sure that this initiative will make a significant and visible difference in the justice delivery in the country. As I welcome all of you, and specifically the Attorney General for his inspiring presence, I'm sure that the decision makers who are present here will drive this movement and remove the hurdle of ignorance, access to various facilities for all stakeholders. Thank you.
Thank you, Lordship, for your welcome address. We now have a small presentation on this training module, explaining how we are going to execute and create the master trainers among the advocates. So I will take you through this presentation. So in E-Committee, we have proposed to create master trainers among the advocates. So this creation of master trainers among advocates will be done 3 phases. So this first phase is creating first an awareness. We just thought that without starting abruptly, we wanted to create an awareness program, and then we will collect the list of master trainers from the BCI, state bar councils, district bar councils, and then selected master trainers be shortlisted, and they will undergo a intensive training. So this is the whole idea with which E-Committee has framed this training module. And we are now in the first phase of the training program. This training program, I should share with you. We just made a module regarding the TOT module. And there was one game changer which I should share with the audience. our chairperson wanted it that it should be in a regional language. Then when we started exploring the possibilities and the potential, it has come out very beautifully. So this entire program will be in the regional languages. So I will explain you how we are going to carry it forward. So I just want to explain the in-house human resources with which we are going to execute this training program. I should here mention the initiative taken by the former chairman of the E-Committee, Honorable Justice B. Lokur, who wanted to have trainers. We have a wonderful combination of judicial officers with a high-tech qualification, computer qualification, and also with the judicial experience. So they were shortlisted and they were made as master trainers. So we have so far some 461 master trainers. We have an exclusive batch of 99 cybercrime master trainers who are qualified in computers and also in the 1 minute. Scroll stop. We have, I think the slide is a bit forwarded. I just want to explain this. We have a 461 judicial officers master trainers. We have an exclusive expert cybercrime master trainers who are 99, who were certified after intensive training by the National Police Academy of Hyderabad. All those 99 master trainers have special qualification with computers and judicial experience. And we have a staff level master trainers also. So using this potential, in-house potential, we are going to train and create master trainers among the advocates. So earlier, these photos which are available on this screen is the first level of master trainers who were trained in the national level. One master trainer have trained 25 master trainers. So this is the screen. And after that, the 25 master trainers have trained some 461 master trainers throughout the country. And this 461 master trainers are now stationed in each part of the country, ready to take the awareness program in the regional language. So this is where we are. So they will just take the session in the regional languages. It is very encouraging that a lot of slides have even been prepared in the regional languages and they are ready with that. So all the advocates will be taken through this 1 hour program on the e-court services. So this is an awareness program. And after this, what is planned is we will be working closely with the Bar Council of India, the state bar councils and the district bar council, and we will be getting the shortlisted advocates who while being selected can have the qualification of taking into consideration their voluntariness, the computer savvy advocates, and the potential to be the trainer. So we will collect the list through the central project coordinators who are in each state. So they will collect and they will give it. And those shortlisted advocates will be intensively trained and they will be certified as the master trainers among the advocates. So once they are trained as master trainers, then what happens? They will be the one point contact for all the other advocates and for the advocate clerks. So this is the whole idea with which this training module is being prepared. And today we are in phase 1. And I also want to take you to the next slide, please. Next slide. Next slide. Okay. We have also collected the feedback forms and we are maintaining the quality control of this training also. We have very encouraging results with this training module. I will show you the feedback forms. See, this is we have maintained some 75% as outstanding so far. And likewise, another feature is, next slide, please. See, this is the very interesting part of this training module, which was visioned by our chairperson, all the material should go to the advocate, each advocate in their regional languages. So we started exploring idea, and we have now landed up in translating the brochures, manuals in nearly 14 to 15 languages. I will just show you this. Next slide, please. See, these are the manuals which we have translated, and the brochures. Next slide. Next. So we will be releasing that. We will be releasing that brochures also. And so this efforts of e-committee is to reach each and every advocate of the country. And we have also started a e-courts YouTube channel. And this is a old picture. We started with around 500. It was 10 days back, and today, as of now, it has reached 6,000 subscribers now. So we have been reaching all this during the pandemic. All our help videos, 20,000 lawyers have viewed our e-filing help videos. So this is one facility in regional languages which is available for the advocates. And we have also conducted the webinars for the advocates in Chennai, Maharashtra, and Delhi, which also has a viewership of more than 20,000. So during this pandemic itself, we have reached more than 40,000 advocates with our awareness program. And today, everywhere in our country, our master trainers are stationed who will take this awareness program in the regional languages. So I will just give you the short objective behind this before concluding. Next. 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 Next slide, please. Yeah. So this training program is aimed at conveying the idea that technology empowers advocate. So with the permission of my Lord, I'm quoting his words. So this is the vision he has given to us. The technology empowers the advocate, and it should be an inclusive system. That is what we are working. So all these e-court services will benefit the advocate and will empower them to be a digital era advocates. So another objective of this whole training is, next slide, please. This is a whole concept. Again, I'm quoting the chairperson, justice as service, the accessibility. So we should move on carrying forward this, making justice as service. And next slide. So creating an inclusive system, I need to mention even our website, even a physically challenged person or visually challenged person can use all our websites. Our e-courts website can be used by a visually challenged person. We have a screen recorder. So all our e-court services which are bundled in our e-court services, that website is a inclusive website. So this is the objective with which we have planned it. And all the master trainers will be concentrating on the 10 ECMT tool. I'm not going to encroach upon that subject. Them are very well prepared. I just want to tell you, after this awareness program, every advocate who's watching this webinar should be able to know all the 10 basic ECMT tools. That is how to see the case status, how to see the cost list, how to get the court orders, all 24/7 from his home. What is the automated email facility? What is how to use the digital diary which is available in the mobile app? How to get the orders, judgments, and depositions. Next slide, please. How to do e-filing, how to do e-payment, how to use NSTEP and the QR code. So all these basic e-committee, e-court services tools, our master trainers will be teaching exactly after this inaugural program in the regional languages in all centers. So with that note, I just want to conclude. I should thank Corona first for that. Corona made us lock indoors. But you and I should not fall, but make our systems stronger. So that is how we all are now prepared to take this forward in this corona times. So that's the end of the presentation. So let me call the next speaker to address. I welcome Mr. Manan Mishra, the BCI chairman, to address now.
Mic. Mananji, you have to unmute your mic. Mic. Up, now it's unmuted.
So, Honorable Dr. Justice D.Y. Chanchur, the Senior Judge, Supreme Court of India, the Chairperson of E-Committee of Supreme Court, Justice R.C. Chauhan, Mr. Mitra, Secretary, Department of Justice, the attendee advocates and the organizers of this awareness program, which is being organized for the benefit of the advocates at district level. It is being organized in 22 regional languages, and that is for the benefit of the entire legal fraternity. The master trainers are to be nominated to train the advocates, and they in turn will train the local advocates at district level to train other lawyers. And ultimately, the lawyers would become trainers for the society and the common mass of the country. Today morning, I witnessed the inaugural function of E-Governance Center at Nasik Civil Court, and I'm thankful to Honorable Dr. Chanchur for inviting me and giving the opportunity to attend these programs. My Lord, the Bar Council of India appreciates the vision of Honorable Dr. Justice D.Y. Chanchur. Bar Council of India has already resolved to support this move of E-Committee of Supreme Court, and very shortly we are going to supply the details of each and every advocate of the country to this committee. This COVID-19 period has changed the lifestyle of everybody. Lawyers are no exception to it. I'm a part of the meeting which was held yesterday, that 7 Honorable Judges Committee of Supreme Court. And I must convey to the entire legal fraternity of the country that it gave me full satisfaction on the views of all the honorable judges. Our judges are worried about the problems and distress of lawyers due to closure of courts. They are well aware of the financial conditions of the vast majority of advocates. I must express my gratitude to the Supreme Court and the chairperson of the E-Committee that they have not closed the doors of justice even during these difficult days of COVID-19. And the urgent matters are being taken up throughout the country through video conferencing. COVID has compelled us to learn many things. At the beginning, video conferencing appeared to be a very big hurdle, rather impossible for 80 to 90% advocates. But this percentage is coming day by day down, so the lawyers are becoming familiar with VC. But e-filing, my lord, is still a big problem for vast majority of advocates. Majority are not at all conversant to e-filing. Even several AORs of Supreme Court are feeling difficulties. Therefore, today's training program and this novel step and idea of our honorable chairperson is very significant. In a long run, it is going to create history in the legal arena. This move of E-Committee of Supreme Court is aimed at opening the doors of justice even during pandemic period. But the virtual hearings cannot replace the physical or open court hearing. Though it has its own merits and benefits for future generation, even small kids are now attending e-classes. But this is a temporary measure which is being adopted in order to protect the lawyers, staff, judges, and litigants from the risk of exposure of infection. The non-availability of internet, non-availability of laptops, lack of technical know-how are biggest hurdles which majority of advocates are facing. But I am sure that under the leadership of Dr. Chanchur, all such problems would be addressed in course of time. I am sure that soon after situation becomes normal, we shall shift back to the open court hearings. Wishing very good wishes to you all. I wish this program and the scheme to be a grand success. Thank you.
Thank you, sir. Next, it's my pleasure to invite the Secretary, Department of Justice, Mr. Barun Mitra, for his address.
Dr. Rachud, Honorable Judge, Supreme Court of India, and Chairperson of the E-Committee, Shri K.K. Venugopal, Learned Attorney General, Justice R.C. Chavan, Vice Chairperson of the E-Committee of the Supreme Court, the Chief Justices of High Courts, and the Chairman of the Computer Committee of various High Courts, Srimati Arul Mozi, Member HR E-Committee, and other members of the E-Committee, Shri Manan Mishra, Bar Council of India Chairman, Master Trainers, Advocates, other trainees, ladies and gentlemen. I'm thankful to the E-Committee of the Supreme Court for giving me the privilege to be a part of the inauguration of the district level awareness program on e-court services, e-filing for advocates, and for the release of manuals and video tutorials in regional languages. In pursuance of the National Policy and Action Plan for Implementation of Information and Communication Technologies in Judiciary, significant strides have been made under the e-courts Mission Mode Phase 1 and Phase 2 projects. The guidance and the leadership role played by the Supreme Court in this regard deserves rich compliments. It has spearheaded a vast array of far-reaching initiatives like computerization of 16,845 courts, the operationalization of the e-courts portals, a legal framework to video conferencing, and now even the e-filing model rules have been drafted, free and open source software with compatibility and interoperability, open application program interfaces for access to data, a very, very robust communication pipeline for judicial data transmission through the National Judicial Data Grid, an interoperable criminal justice system, and this is just to name a few of the initiatives. But all these steps have all conjoined to give a very strong edifice to the ICT backbone in the realm of judiciary, especially in terms of connectivity, data management, and process automation of the courts. The credentials of the e-courts project has been vindicated post-COVID. This pandemic and the resultant COVID protocol compelled us to avoid courts in the congregation mode. And yet we have been able to give to our citizens access to the justice delivery system by embracing technology whose foundations were established by the e-courts project. In fact, today forenoon, Honorable Justice Chandrachud did an e-inauguration of the e-governance center in Nasik. And that testifies how the members of the bar have now started very proactively reorienting themselves to adopting technology and adapting to technology. And here it goes without saying that sensitization of the stakeholders with these wide-ranging reform initiative is an imperative requirement. Apart from awareness generation, there is a need to familiarize the stakeholders with the nuts and bolts of the reforms and the operational modalities to develop user confidence. In this backdrop, today's event is in fact a path-breaking effort to take on board the members of the bar who constitute one of the most critical stakeholders. The focus of the program is giving exposure to e-court services in general and the electronic case management tools in particular, besides e-filing. This surely will make the training inputs immensely beneficial, productive, practical, and relevant. I'm also happy to learn that the training will be conducted in regional languages and that a corpus of master trainers amongst advocates will be created, who in turn will act like torchbearers of knowledge and demystify tools of information and communication technology. I like to record my appreciation on behalf of the Department of Justice to the E-Committee of the Supreme Court for conducting such a well-planned and spatial outreach program. I wish the trainees a fruitful interaction and urge them to give their feedback and appraisal so as to make room for further improvements. Without much ado, I would now like to conclude, as all of us are now eager to hear the erudite words and visionary thoughts of Dr. Justice Chandrachud, under whose dynamic leadership the E-Committee has made momentous progress. Thank you.
Thank you, sir. Now I request the Attorney General, Mr. K.K. Venugopal, to say a few words to our trainees and advocates.
I should say that what I've been watching is an eye-opener. So far as I am concerned, I never believed that we could have progressed to this extent. And now I'm optimistic that in due course, entire country, all the courts will be e-courts, so that so far as COVID-19 is concerned, perhaps this is a little silver lining that we have, that it has compelled all of us to go in for an alternative, namely video conferencing. But I would suggest that if we can go one step further and have video streaming as well, then in which case the entire population of lawyers will be able to listen to the cases which are going on in any court in this country. And we would be able to judge the capacity of the lawyers, the judges, and the nature of the cases which are being handled in the courts, starting with the lower courts, district courts, high courts, as well as the Supreme Court of India. I think what has been achieved by the E-Committee, I think we have to congratulate them. And I'm sure within the next 1 year, the whole of this country will be familiar with e-courts and the manner in which we could be heard and we could argue cases, and for the judges to deliver judgments all through the e-courts. That's it.
Thank you so much, sir. Next, it is our proud privilege to invite Honorable Dr. Justice D.Y. Chandrachud, Judge, Supreme Court of India, and also our chairperson, to inaugurate the district level awareness program in regional languages on e-court services for advocates, and also to release the manuals and tutorials in regional languages, and to address all the master trainers and who have joined from the length and breadth of the country. Lordship, your mic is muted.
Yes, is it all right now?
Yeah, yes, Lordship.
Chief Justices and judges of the High Court, including the chairpersons of the computer committees.
First, we can inaugurate, Lordship.
All right, yes.
Thank you, Lordship. I now welcome you for the inaugural address.
Sharul. Honorable Chief Justices of the High Courts, Judges of the High Courts, and Chairpersons of the Computer Committees, our very respected and learned Attorney General, Mr. K.K. Venugopal, Shri Barun Mitra, the Secretary, Department of Justice, and his entire team at the Department of Justice, the Joint Secretary, Mr. Pandey, Shri Manan Kumar Mishra, Chairman of the Bar Council of India, my very, very distinguished colleague on the committee, Vice Chairperson, Justice R.C. Chauhan, the Secretary General of the Supreme Court, Mr. Sanjeev Kalgaonkar, who is constantly guiding us and helping us and assisting us in this project, members of the bar, participants, and the members of the E-Committee who are present today. Well, we are so grateful at the outset for the presence of the distinguished Attorney General today. From more than one perspective, because much of this program really originated in an idea which he shared during the course of the last E-Committee meeting of having training for advocates. This morning, we inaugurated the E-Seva Kendra, the e-governance facility at Nasik. So this is part of a two-pronged approach which the E-Committee of the Supreme Court of India has adopted. On the one hand, we need to create facilities through which litigants and advocates can access e-governance facilities. On the other hand, merely providing facilities and infrastructure is not going to work unless the members of the bar in particular are aware and have the knowledge. They are duly trained to use the facilities. So this program, this two-pronged program which has been adopted by the E-Committee, is based on a knowledge of the fact that there is a technological divide in India. Those of us who work and live in the metropolitan cities have the best facilities at our command in terms of information and communications technology. But the credibility, the staying capacity, the spine or the backbone of the judicial administration in the country is provided by the advocates who work at the taluka and district levels. The first interface of the citizen with injustice and his or her attempt to remedy injustice is when they contact an advocate at the taluka level, at the district level, and go to their offices or to their chambers in the courts for remedying their problems. So we believe that unless we carry every member of the bar along with us in this mission, we can never succeed. And therefore, this project which we have conceived is an attempt to spread knowledge of ICT initiatives to the members of the bar, so that our target is that we must attain 100% computer literacy among every member of the Indian bar. Just to give the participants today an idea of the kind of services which are rendered by the E-Committee, we have a services portal. Now, almost 25 lakh hits are recorded daily on our services portal. there is a mobile app which has recorded around 43 lakh downloads on the mobile app. Around 35 lakh hits are recorded daily. We have a facility of providing SMSs to members of the bar whose cases are listed to litigants. And we generate 35,000 SMSs every day. There is a facility for providing automated emails to members of the bar and to litigants. 350,000 emails are sent daily. Our automated emails enable lawyers to know of the case status, the cause lists, orders. Judgments are provided through automated emails to litigants, to advocates, to the police. Recently, as a part of our continuing interface with the Department of Justice, and we are very grateful to the Department of Justice for their continuing engagement with the work of the E-Committee. This is really a joint project. As a result of the continuing initiative of the Department of Justice of the Government of India, we started providing copies of pleadings by emails to advocates and litigants in commercial courts. The Department of Justice was concerned with this because we are engaging with them to ensure that the parameters of India in the ease of doing business rankings internationally is continuously on the rise, because that determines the amount of foreign investment which comes into India, the confidence of foreign investors. But we want to now extend it not just to the commercial courts, but to all courts in the country. So with the range of facilities which we are providing, we have the National Judicial Data Grid. The National Judicial Data Grid, you'll be surprised to know, has as many as 12 crore 34 lakh orders which are uploaded on the NJDG of pending cases and disposed of cases. For the High Courts, the total number of cases available on the NJDG are about 2 crores 85 lakhs 95,000 cases. So these are the kind of statistics which we have. But we are not satisfied with this. We believe that we have only touched the tip of the iceberg. And we need to expand this exponentially by carrying the message across to the members of the bar. Now, what we have done is, in the first phase, we are conducting awareness of our programs among the advocates, going down to the smallest areas in terms of population size, in terms of numbers of advocates practicing in those courts. In the first stage, we trained 25 master trainers on 20th June 2020. So for every state and for the Union Territory, we have 25 master trainers who have been trained across India. Now, these 25 master trainers on 27th of June 2020, they trained 461 master trainers. Now, these 461 master trainers, 278 out of them are going to deal with 2 districts, because we have 739 districts in India. So 278 master trainers will train trainers in 2 districts. The idea is that once we take this process forward, we will be able to start a program of creating trainers among the advocates themselves. We are only initiating the process. We don't want to take over this program. We want ownership of this program to be taken by the members of the bar. And that is why we have requested, and we are so happy and thankful to him, to Mr. Manan Kumar Mishra, for joining us today as the chairperson of the Bar Council of India, because we are only initiating it. We are only facilitating this. But ultimately, we want the advocates to take this away and to treat this as their own program, as something they command ownership of, and something as a matter of pride for the members of the bar. We are conscious of the fact that many advocates, I was Chief Justice of the Allahabad High Court for 3 years, and I learned a great deal of the heartland of India as a Chief Justice of Allahabad. You learn that, well, there are lawyers who come from very, very rural upbringings. It's a great achievement for that human being to even have passed the law exam, to come to court, to make that migration from being probably into manual labor or agriculture into a learned profession like the law. So just to make that leap is a huge jump for that young lawyer. Now, we don't want these lawyers to remain where they are. We have moved from the age of old forms of transportation into new forms of transportation. And our lawyers, our young members of the bar must be part of this movement. And we must create these facilities for the members of the bar. We cannot expect that a young lawyer will have a laptop. where does a young lawyer spend 40,000 rupees to buy a laptop from? So, but if a young lawyer does not have a laptop, surely we must provide an e-governance center where she or he can go to the court complex and avail of every service that is available. If any one of them has not gone to the best educational institutions, the court should be the center point for providing education for these young members of the bar, the middle members of the bar, the senior members of the bar, so that they can easily learn. Because one great thing about technology today is technology is user-friendly. It's not very complicated. It's complicated to design technology, but the complication of designing technology lies in the fact that you have to make technology easily accessible, simple to use. So that is our mission today. The next step of the process, which Mr. Mishra also mentioned, is to collect and prepare a list of advocates throughout the country. The E-Committee of the Supreme Court provides free services to advocates. We don't charge. We are not a revenue generating arm of the government of India. We are a revenue spending arm of the government of India in that sense. And as an adjunct of the Supreme Court of India. So the E-Committee of the Supreme Court proposes to have a master of all advocates in the country so that we can send emails, we can send SMSs, we can provide free services to the members of the bar. They must know each of these services. Can you imagine, for instance, that our e-filing module today enables an advocate to generate their own cause list. The advocate can generate their own roster of cases. That e-filing module, which has been prepared by the team at NIC at Pune, spearheaded by Mr. Ashish Shiradhonkar, has created a whole universe for the advocate, where an advocate can virtually see his entire or her entire dossier of cases. Which are the cases which are going to be listed? When are they going to be listed next? So by collecting and making a comprehensive record of advocates all over the country, we can really ensure that they get these services which we render to all of them. Now, the third phase is the shortlisted advocates will be trained intensively by the E-Committee to become master trainers among the advocates. So this is the 3-phase program which we have envisaged, which we plan to complete in the next few months with the assistance of the Bar Council of India and the state bar councils and the bar associations of the districts. The second element which we have designed is, as you saw a short while ago, the release of regional language manuals, brochures, and video tutorials. So we have a step-by-step guide for e-filing. Today, the manual has been translated in Assamese, Bengali, Nepali, Urdu, Mizo, Tamil, Hindi, Garo, Khasi, among other languages. Our brochures today are in 14 languages, namely Assamese, Bengali, Hindi, Nepali, Mizo, Odia, Punjabi, Telugu, Kannada, Marathi, Malayalam, Tamil, Garo, Khasi. So we have now reached out to the regional languages, because we believe that unless you give communication and information in language which the advocate is familiar, the language of the citizen, we'll not be able to really achieve our mission. So we have 12 video tutorials in 7 regional languages. Chief Justice Geeta Mittal wrote to me this morning, and she said that this is truly an effort by the E-Committee to reach out to every member of the bar, from Kanyakumari on the one hand, right up to Kashmir or Ladakh, as she said. And I believe that is really so true. And we would also begin from the western part of the country and go all the way right through to the northeast. So I believe that with these initiatives that the E-Committee has been adopting, we'll be able to spearhead awareness about our programs among the members of the bar. Mr. Mishra mentioned about the e-filing difficulties which advocates are facing. We're conscious of the fact that these are difficulties which advocates, members of the bar do face, but we have to find answers to them. And the only way we can find answers to them is for all of us to join our hands together, understand our problems, and then try and find solutions to those problems. Insofar as the open court hearings are concerned, of course, the reason why we had to resort to virtual court hearings during the pandemic was because otherwise justice would have been shut down. We had absolutely no option when the entire country was in a lockdown mode to prevent the spread of infection. Today, as we hope that the curve will flatten out, we will increasingly, as the committee of 7 judges indicated to a high-powered meeting yesterday, we have been drawing from the opinion of very eminent public health experts, including Dr. Guleria of the All India Institute of Medical Sciences, and a team of experts from the public and the private sectors. And we are taking all necessary steps consistent with the advice which we received from the experts in the public health sector, because we, in a way, the court is very different from any other office, either of the corporate India or of the government, in the sense that these are places where thousands and thousands of people congregate every day. And there are different stakeholders. You have the members of the bar, you have litigants, we have staff, we have the lawyers who come every day in multitudes of numbers who come into our courts. So we have to ensure that while access to justice is open for all, that at the same time we protect each other against the spread of this pandemic. So we are all in it together. I don't believe that judges or any segment of our profession stands away from the other. What affects one part of our profession affects the other equally. We can't exist without the other. You can't imagine a judicial institution without the bar, any more than you can imagine a judicial institution without the judges. But we can't imagine a judicial institution without our staff, because they are really the essential backbone or spine who make sure that our cases, whether they are in the physical mode or they are in the e-filing mode, that they are kept ready for all of us. So with this, I don't want to take much more time. I would really like to thank all of you for participating in this event. This is a very important step, I believe, for spearheading knowledge of e-court facilities, for making people aware as to the range of free facilities which are now available to them. We want the bar, the junior-most member of the bar, and the senior-most member of the bar, who may not be as equipped in terms of information technology, to seize this opportunity, to work with us, to see the facilities which are available, and to communicate your problems to us. Because please rest assured that when we have a problem which is communicated to us, we immediately convey it to the team of the NIC at Pune, and we tell them, please rectify this. This is the issue which is being faced. And within a period of 24 or 48 hours, I have an email on my inbox saying that we have been able to rectify this. For instance, the last thing I want to say is the NJDG, the National Judicial Data Grid, has now been expanded to cover the high courts also, so that it shouldn't be that the figures of pendency in the high courts are kept away from the country. I believe that scrutiny is always something which is for the better. The Learned Attorney General for India has also spoken about the need for live streaming. They're in fact framing model rules on live streaming. We have framed model rules already on video conferencing. We have framed model rules on e-filing. A high-powered committee has been constituted to frame a SOP, a statement of procedure on digitization, which is already doing its work. It's looking at the international best practices. And the committee is also, another committee is looking into rules on live streaming, on how best to implement the judgment of the Supreme Court. So work is going on a multitude of fronts. We are so thankful to all of you for joining us today. And we appreciate your great support for this. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Lordship, for fueling all our master trainers and the advocates who are present across the country. And with that, we are coming to the end of this inaugural session. There is a long list of persons behind the screen, whom I need to thank, starting from our chairperson, vice chairperson, attorney general, our Secretary Department of Justice, BCI chairman, all the computer committee judges of honorable high courts, our CPCs, the torch bearers of the e-courts project, master trainers, and especially the technical team of the Honorable Delhi High Court who are supporting this live streaming. So that list is endless. And with that, I hand over the session to all the master trainers who are stationed at every district to commence the awareness program for the advocates. Thank you, one and all.
Thank you. Thank you. Thank you.